Okay, I'm going to Evelyn's place. We have wigs, we have lighting, we have outfits, and we're taking the promo for Framed, as well as the 6th episode, which is Women in Power Part 1. And we're very excited, but Framed is coming out next week, and let's hope you guys like it. Here on the Upper East Side, we shoot in Evelyn's kitchen and we put stockings over the lights. And it's totally fine. Because we were talking about the premise of the show. So it's a combination of why we wanted to do it, and yeah, why is it different? Because I said that the information that we have is available to everyone but not promoted. And just that technically it's promoted but it's not made available to everyone.
Exactly. Most of the topics that we're talking about are usually like treated, discussed in scholarly books or articles. It's very difficult for people to have the time or energy.
Yeah, because there's not really a book that says what you say.
Exactly.
Just scraps of it.
That's what I always said. When people ask me, oh, where did you read this? Where can I read this? And I'm like, well, you have to study 20 years.
And why do you want to make it available to other people?
Because I think that there's nothing more actually public than art. Art was always supposed to be for everybody. Even the one that was meant to be in the palaces of rich people, in the end, these rich people wanted to show it to others. It was a way of propaganda, a way of promoting themselves, or to promote their ideals. So art has always been a way of communicating. So why not using it now to make people learn about the past and see how relevant is what happened to the way we live today and to our decisions today too.
Do you know who Kathy Griffin is?
No.
So she's a comedian. She's been around for a very long time. I ended up watching 2 of her specials, and I ended up loving her. I was like, I love this woman. I love this comedian. And then I Googled her, and she's 60 now. And I was watching specials from when she was 40 years old. But there's a whole thing that happened to her that I had no idea. So in 2017, she posted a picture. She had a Halloween mask of Donald Trump, and she soaked it in ketchup, and it looked like a severed head. And she posted it.
Oh, like Judith.
Like Judith, that's what I thought. Do you know what happened to her? That picture immediately went live all around the world.
Oh.
All around the world. She started getting, all of her shows got cancelled. She had a lineup of 72 shows. In less than 24 hours, she had no one single day of paid work ahead of her. And she started to get death threats. Her mother started to get death threats. Her sister was sick in the hospital with cancer. She started to get death threats. She was blacklisted and banned from everything. And then the FBI came to her house and said, no, the Department of Justice, not the FBI, said, we are considering charging you with conspiracy to assassinate the President of the United States. She was put on the no-fly list like a terrorist. She was put on the Interpol list and detained at every airport that she went to while she was traveling. And not one single person, not one single feminist, not one single person in Hollywood said, I'm going to help you or did anything to help her. Not one single person.
Oh.
No one helped her. She is one of the greatest comedians alive today and an extraordinary woman. And she said they knew I was an easy target because I'm like a one-man band. Like I don't have a big production company behind me to do me. Yeah. Well, no one lifted a single finger. And she powered through it. She paid everything by herself, and now she's back at it, but it was rough for her. And this is from 2017 to today, 2021. It was heartbreaking to see. And when we talk about witches and women in power like we're about to do today, there's always a revolution going on. We never really go through a time when things are fine. People always have to fight for something. And that's another thing. People don't know history and what happened. Remember when COVID happened and conspiracy theories started to spread here and there, and you were like, yeah, I've seen that before.
In a sense, they were blaming Jewish people for the plague. So.
Yeah, you were like, I've already seen this. This is not new to me.
And at the root of everything, it's always, in my opinion, jealousy. That human beings are always comparing themselves to others, you never really focus on yourself. If you just would focus on yourself, you would have much better life, you know? You would use the energy that you use to suffer and compare yourself to others and feel miserable to pursue your dreams and your goals. But instead, it's easier to do that. It's easier to complain, and it's easier to blame somebody else or the society, or think that you have no success because you look in a certain way. It's much easier.
It's very hard. Like, I see that on me too. I am in people's minds, in my friends' mind, and people that kind of know me. I'm a shoe designer, and now I'm doing this because I hope that this is gonna be my living. Because I think after a lot of dead ends, I'm trying to find what makes me happy and what I want to do. But it's hard when I'm in a conversation. Most of the time, I just lie and like, yeah, I'm still there. It's true that it would be easier if we focused on ourselves and we didn't think about other people, but they don't make it easy. So the best way is to, like, you can choose to, that's, in my case, that's what I'm doing right now. You can choose to work on your own things and focus on your own dreams and go ahead, but you won't be getting any approval in the meantime.
No.
And we are raised, seeking for that approval.
That's true. You always want to be supported by other people. And I still believe, even when I was preparing for this episode, and I was learning a lot about these women and their work, and there were a number of women in the Renaissance that wrote books about the virtues of women, how good are women, how worth of women, and so on. But if you don't have the support of your group, most of the time women are not supported by other women. That's the thing also.
Kathy Griffin, none of the other female comments helped her.
You see? Why? Because they're like, they don't want to, maybe they were also happy. They should miserably fail,
Some people were.
Of course they are. Some people, they are really glowing when somebody else who's successful fails, because they say, oh, you see? But anyway, yes, we need to support each other, encourage each other, and instead that's very difficult. It's difficult to find true support and sincere or honest one.
And something else that I noticed these days, because I'm trying to be braver and do my own thing, and not worry about what people say. There have been times when I would find myself always in the same conversations, right? What are you doing? How much money are you making? All that stuff. And a couple of times already in the past months, I was like, what if I'm honest for the fuck of it? What if I just tell them what I'm doing? And I did not get the bad reaction that I thought I was gonna get. And I did it recently to someone that I did not think was going to get me. Someone very serious, someone that works in finance. And I said, I write songs, and I want to be a songwriter, and I want to be a producer, and I want to have shows, and I want to work in TV. And he looks at me and he says, I started playing guitar when I was in high school, and it was a big dream of mine, and I had my band, and I regret not pursuing that. And at one point, I just thought it wasn't cool. I didn't look cool, so I stopped doing it. Which is why I'm ashamed of what I do and I don't tell people, because I think they're gonna think that I'm not cool. And when I told this guy and I didn't think I was getting his approval, instead he said, actually, you're kind of living the dream that I never lived. And that reminded me of an interview that I saw with Meryl Streep, and she said, you gotta remember when you're up on stage that people come to see you because they're also living their dream through you. There's a little piece of them that wanted to be up there.
Of course. Most of the case is that people don't have the courage to pursue their dreams. They do what is most convenient, and nowadays certain kind of careers are more convenient and they're easier because there are more jobs.
Yeah. I mean, what's the fucking insane person that says, yeah, I'm gonna draw my eyebrows higher and tell jokes on camera. Hopefully that's gonna pay my bills one day. Guess we'll see.
Yeah, but there was also, this is so relevant. Yesterday evening, before I go to bed, I always drink a tea. And these teas have messages. So listen to the message. I took a photo, don't remember by heart what I was saying, but it's perfect for our conversation. The world needs your unique gift. Don't leave them still inside you.
Ma questo trapano viene da fuori?
Sì. Bellissimo. Come chiudere la finestra? There's a
Green. Today we're green.
Yeah,
Right.
today we're green. We're in symphony as usual.
As usual. Here we go, there's no turning back now. You know that they say the thing with this kind of makeup is that you look like a car crash until like 1 minute before it's done. But in my experience, sometimes it never gets better. And then someone else said, doing makeup is nothing, like a makeup look is nothing but covering up mistakes that you do. Like there's no plan, you just start with an idea and then you f*** up and then...
That makes sense, It's like painting a canvas.
Yeah. Except some people
There are a
really
lot
good
of
at it.
ripensamenti, no?
Yeah, my ripensamenti mostly include me not being able to do what I'm doing. I just realized that I'm on camera and people, like makeup artists, can see that I'm putting eyeshadow on with my finger. That's not allowed.
Uh-oh, do you need a white?
Yeah. And we're shooting the promo for Framed because we really want to start posting things since we started taping in January. So sometimes I do my makeup and it looks bad here and then it looks good on camera. Sometimes it looks good here and then I go home and I'm like, ah! I will get better.
You always look good.
There was one day where I glued down my hair, my sideburn, and it was peeling off on one side. And in the camera, you can, like I flipped my hair, and it looks like and you can see the peeling off there, or there's some, but it's fine. It's fine. The toughest one was when we taped the first episode, and I hadn't done makeup in 3 months because New York got scary and I stopped doing stand-up comedy because I didn't want to be pushed on a platform. And so I woke up at 6:30 in the morning and I did the makeup at my house, not at your house. At 6:30 a.m. in the morning, after 3 months, I'm not even putting mascara on. And that was our first episode. Okay. Not so bad.
No, better.
Now the most fearful, frightening thing. Eyeliner! And I love how, like, at the beginning I was not using eyeliner. I was like, I'm gonna be different. And then I was like, I am different because I look not as good as them. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do my eyeliner, like, first. So if I mess it up, I can just do it again. And then I was like, oh, if you do your eyeliner first, then you cover it up with eyeshadow and you don't see the eyeliner.
Oh, birds. Should I turn them off?
The birds?
No, questo. Dato che ormai è quasi finito e facciamo.
Yeah. Maybe you wanna get the moment, one eye is done. Maybe they wanna get the moment when I've completely on my other. Sometimes my roommate says that she can hear me curse. In the morning when she's in the kitchen, she hears me cursing. She's like, oh, he's up and he's doing his makeup. Abbastanza. Not the best thing I've ever done. Bando alle ciance le deve. Today both Evelyn and I are having a weird day, right? No, it doesn't work?
Yeah.
Non va.
No,
No va. We wanted to do Framed because, well, first of all, we love working with each other. We wanted to do something together. And then as we were discussing earlier today, it's just the fact that there's a lot of what we're going through right now historically that is shocking us. It's not new. And it's not just history that repeats itself, it's also art history that repeats itself. You know all these things, you're very curious, you like to patch it together. That's another thing that I think is very important, talking about the premise of our show. Which it's not that you're reading to whomever's watching what we're doing, you're not reading off a textbook.
No.
The information is a patchwork of a lot of studying that you did on your own.
Exactly.
So no one does this like we do. There's a lot of information about things that men did to women in the past, and I think men have no interest in sharing those things vocally. And then you were like, actually they do share them, but they don't make it available to everyone. They do these conventions that are just for people from the field. And that's what I think that's something that brings us both together. Yeah, I'm a designer, I'm a comedian, aspiring songwriter, whatsoever. As long as I can, I get to tell a story. I'm a storyteller. That's okay. That's like that's something, a definition that I like. You're an art historian, but what we have in common, I think it's the
They were
love.
storytellers.
They were storytellers, storytellers and storytellers. But I think it's our love for pop culture and the principle of pop culture. So it's something complicated, made simple and available to everyone.
Exactly.
That's the main thing we have in common. We think that art should be for everybody.
Exactly.
So that's why we came up with Framed.
What I want to do is really to make difficult concepts or things that people will never read accessible to everyone by telling my story, my personal story, the way I see it. Bringing together topics that I think are interesting.
It was, we had no idea how to do it. We tried to make it a vocal podcast. We taped the first episode a couple of times, I think. And so we had to figure out how to record ourselves, and we were like, well, I guess we have to, we were like, no, I guess we have to tape that first episode all over again. And then the idea of, working on visual effects and the opening theme and all that stuff that that we like, that we enjoy, that we share. You have 2 kids. It's really a merge of our interests, our love, our passion, and our friendship.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're gonna find us on Instagram at The Real Framed. So it's really simple. Our series is divided in chapters. That's how we decided to split it. Some chapters have 2 episodes, some have 3. Our first chapter is gonna be our witchcraft chapter. So we're gonna be talking about witches. It's called Witches What the Hell, pun intended. And we, most people think that the whole witchcraft deal started during the Salem trials. And we found out that it started way before that. And actually, magic has always been around, witches have always been around. So we dive into that. We found out that there was mostly one work, but written by one man, that started the whole thing in Europe. Much before the Salem trials. I opened a TikTok account. I'm not a social media person, I'm not on social media. I'm figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, me neither.
Exactly. So we're on Instagram, The Real Framed. We have our YouTube channel, which you probably know about because you're watching this video on our YouTube channel. If you wanna get every update, then subscribe to our channel and leave a like if you like our videos, because it means a lot to us. And yes, so like we always say, $1 chance, and let's dive in.